Welcome guys, welcome back, and let's continue with the next part, and let's go and discuss some more advanced concepts of AWS cloud, right? So last class, guys, I tried to explain you as much as possible in the one of the concept called infrastructure as code. Okay, and there I introduce you the service called CloudFormation. We have built very much a kind of advanced infrastructure, but the point was the approach that I used in my last class, and the way I'm try to explain you in such a way that if you want to automate any services inside the AWS world, okay, cloud formation, you guys can create your own stack, you can create your own code, you can create your own template to build as much as uh, different services or different component you want to connect. Okay, so I'll try to touch as much as advanced as possible. Maybe we are into by chance into the associate level training, but I think at this level of training, this that much knowledge might be more than enough to build or to create any kind of big or great infrastructure, right? So today's, guys, the topic is different, service is different. So in AWS there's a lot of services with respect to security. Okay, and because security is a big word, uh, need to need or use case to use case, we need different kind of security to be implemented, and for every security we need some kind of a program or software or maybe technology to be used to solve those use cases. Okay, what I mean by this, in a minute I will explain you, but today I'm going to introduce you one more topic that is related to security. And because right now we are into the AWS training, so in the AWS training, if you want to implement a security that is based on key, okay, or maybe I can use one more word here, that is based on cryptography. Okay, then we have a service in the AWS world called KMS. That's called key management service. Okay, so very much core service, very much a required service, almost in all the services we have discussed till date. Maybe you go to EBS or EFS or Lambda or maybe RDS. Every service need cryptography, every service need some kind of encryption. Okay, and almost every service of AWS internally is very much integrated to have a security for encryption with a service called KMS. So what I mean by this, what I'm actually explaining you here, uh, today's class, guys, again is a long class. Okay, because I believe you guys have no idea in cryptography also. You don't know what is encoding, decoding, encryption, decryption, asymmetric key, symmetric keys, signatures. So a lot of things is there in the cryptography world. So I believe you guys are very much new in that area. So I will start our journey in today's class step by step from very much zero. Okay. So I will explain you guys from the cryptography, what is the cryptography, what's the need, and slowly we will try to touch all the component, all the features provided by KMS. Okay, so long topic, tons of things, from very basics to all the advanced we are going to discuss today. Okay, so there's a high level plan, but the entire topic or the entire agenda for today's class is just KMS. Okay, but again, just want to guys again want to tell you one more thing. Again, same thing I'm repeating again, that most of the guys are into CSA, is associate level of training. A lot of guys are also with me in the developer track, both the training. Okay, they have very high level small portion of KMS service in our actually in our official agenda. Okay, but if you want to know very much detail or internals about KMS, so AWS has their own advanced specialized program. Okay, So again, guys, if you talk about the hierarchy of the AWS global training or the certification program, the base level program is called associate programs. And on the top of associate, they have a professionals a program. And on the top of professional, they have a specialized program. So this is the most advanced training program and the and the certificate program from AWS. Okay, so AWS has one specialized training program in security. Okay, and if you go there, they have a dedicated chapter or the module purely on the KMS security. Because I told you guys there's tons of things in the security world. So if you want a cryptography kind of security, okay, what is used of this we'll discuss today. But if you go for this program, they have a dedicated one one chapter or one module on KMS. Okay, so I am discussing to you, okay, because my plan is to cover as much as possible whatever we have available in our security model. Okay, so it is a very much extra bonus for you. You can think in this way. But while doing this level of training program, we are touching almost all the content of the KMS that is there in the specialized program of AWS. So if you very quickly go and see AWS security okay, certification, right, and you will see the content of this particular program. Okay, and after seeing the program, you come to know there's one detailed chapter. Okay, if you see somewhere in the detail of this program, so when one complete chapter would be on KMS. Okay, so if you see this data encryption method and all the things, so this is actually a part of KMS service only. Okay, so I'm trying to touch almost all the content over here. Okay, and understand one thing, guys, maybe maybe some of the guys might be here only for CSA, but if you're learning extra, so it is always good, right? Because guys, I told you in my first day of my training when I start our CSA training program, and I told you okay, we are going to touch as much as possible in our program. And a lot of guys over here have a lot of different use cases. They keep on connecting to me and asking to cover this topic also, this topic also in detail, also some extra aspects also. So I told you guys in my first class, we will create our agenda on the fly. And as your requirement come up, your need come up, I'll try to touch as much as possible in our maybe we went into this track. But our internal plan is to train you guys in the AWS. Because if you solve some real use cases in the real industry, so it is not like this. In the real use case, they say that you have to implement somewhere KMS. But if you say, no, I know only CSA level. Okay, so it will not like this, it is happening, right? If some use case come up, you have to solve it. Okay, they never categorize you that you have CSA level of training you have done or specialized level of training you have done, right? So any use case come up, you should know how to solve it. And for this, as much as you know, okay, it will always help you guys to reach to the next extent in your job or in your profile. Okay, this one thing. And one more thing, guys, the way I work or the way Linux world work, our philosophy is very different. Okay, normally it is very common trend in the market. What we normally in the market we can do, okay, we will very high level give you some concept of KMS and try to promote a next program. And we ask everybody to again invest your time and invest your money if you want to know more about it. So this is the very normal trend in the market, in the institution, in the colleges or other way, wherever you learn something. But our philosophy very different. Whatever program you have with us, we'll make sure to touch as much as we can. So we would like to save your time, we would like to save your money also. And final intention is to train you as much as possible in our program. Only drawback in this approach is, so if you ask you that my program might cover complete in 3 months, but it might extend for some extra month. So there's the only drawback, because it's a trade-off, right? Obviously, If we keep on giving a lot of content, we have to give more time. Okay, so so this is only drawback, but it is good for you and me also, so that we are here for longer time, and a lot of extra content you guys are keep on having in this program. Okay, so that's what, guys. I just want to again update you here. Okay, so per day basis, I'm picking one services. All the services I can cover, that I'm covering in 1 or 2 months, I can cover in one day also, because these services like CloudFormation, KMS, it is just a small introduction part in our program. So I can create a slide, move to the slides, and complete the topic. Okay, but that's what I am not doing here. Okay, so now you understand what I'm talking about, right? So let's continue with our today's service, that is called KMS. Okay, very much powerful service. All right, almost all the other services is somehow integrated with KMS. So whenever you heard the term encryption, okay, in any of the services, maybe in the EBS if you want to encrypt your hard disk, maybe in EFS if you want to encrypt your file system, in Lambda if you want to encrypt your variables or the data, maybe in RDS if you want to encrypt your databases, okay, or maybe XYZ, or maybe in load balancer you want to encrypt your data via HTTPS. Okay, so any of the services you guys know we discussed till date, if you heard this term encryption or maybe decryption, right, or maybe heard the term called key, so 99.99%, right, that is actually behind the scene managed by KMS. Okay, KMS is service from AWS. If I open our AWS account, you will see there is a one dedicated service that is called it's called key managed or management service. Okay, but if you really want to know this service very well, using this service is so simple. Okay, but if you want to really want to know this service very well, so that you can use wherever you want to use this service, so you should be good in cryptography. And I believe that you guys are new in cryptography, so let me very quickly explain you basic concept of cryptography, then we'll come back here and discuss this service. So service called KMS. Key management service. Okay, so this service, guys, we are going to discuss, right? But let me start the things from very basics. So let me start the concept called cryptography. And guys, a lot of guys is from last couple of days and week asking me to have a separate session on cryptography. So this is not the pure cryptography session, right? Because it's a big topic altogether, right? It's a different, maybe you can say one course, maybe, but all the main concept or main vocabulary of cryptography I am trying to explain you here. Okay, so technically cryptography is one of the field in security world. Okay, and they say whatever data you have, okay, data you have, and whatever data you have means you write somewhere. And guys, if you talk about write, in the Greek world, write is known as graphic. Okay, so whatever data you have, you write somewhere, you have somewhere, and you want nobody can able to understand your data, nobody can able to read your data in a normal form. That's called secure or secret. So crypto means secure. So if you want to make your data or writing secure, it's called secure writing, then this subject is called cryptography. It's a Greek word. Crypto means secure, graphy means writing. Okay, so you can think in this way. You can think in this way. For example, you have something as a one object that is very important in your home, right? In your home, if something is very important for you, maybe money and cash and maybe some jewelry, so what we normally do, I don't want anybody can can access my money, or maybe something or some object in your home. So normally you have one box in your home, and all those sensitive thing critical thing you will keep those things and those object in one box. Okay, but putting those things in one box won't be sufficient. Okay, you have to also log the gate of this box. Okay, but again, closing the gate of this box is not enough. You have to lock it, and obviously when you lock this gate, you should have to use some device you guys know that's called key. And you should have a key with you, and make sure the whatever key you use is not like this, and any other keys can also able to unlock this box. So you have to use a key, and such a key that is the unique key for your box means I'm talking about locker. Sometimes locker is known as a vault. Okay, so what a locker you use, where you keep your data or objects. Okay, you should lock a key and make sure the key should be unique. That means if you have the key, and if somebody also have the other key of that other lock, that lock, obviously that key won't touch, then won't able to unlock this box, right? So this very basic thing, you understand what I'm talking about. So if you think any object is very critical for you, in our case, in the computer science world, these object is normally a file. Okay, and file normally contain a data. So if you think some data is very important for you, keep this data in one box in one locker. And make sure, don't forget to lock this box, and for this you need some kind of unique key that is only be with you. Nobody can have this key. Okay, so finally, if you have any data that is very secure, normally your credit card details, your CVV number, your password, and these are the some critical data for us. And for some other things, some PII information, your personal information, if you put in the hospital, so it is again very critical. So again, area to area, company to company, maybe some company customer data is very critical because they are running their business because of their data. Okay, so requirement for everybody to company to company need to need the sensitivity of the data it change. Okay, so let's say for me some data is very critical for me, and I know I have data in this format that I can read. For example, I have my Linux operating system, this one. Okay, and I have lots of Linux operating system with me, and I usually forget the password of these guys. So what I'll do, I create one file, and inside this file I keep all the password of these OS. Okay, of these OS. Okay, so let's say my password is Red Hat. Okay, so technically password is actually for the computer perspective is a data, but I know for this data is very much critical for me. Okay, but if I keep this data in this format, so anybody by chance have get access of my that document, right, where I keep this password, they can read it. So if you put any data in this format, this is known as text data, or also known as plain text data or plain data. But if you know your password is, or this data is very critical, what can you do? You can create one box, and keep your data, keep your password or sensitive data in one box. Guys, in the computer world, locking is known as encryption. So don't forget to encrypt this box. Okay, and when you encrypt this box, okay, for the computer perspective, right, computer perspective, this entire data actually finally again is storing in somewhere in your hard disk, in your storage. And if you somebody try to read this data, okay, the data will be very much so again, guys, I love to add one more point. When you lock any data and encrypt any data, it doesn't means nobody can able to read it. They can read your data, but your data would be in very much different format, something hash or some binary format, that anybody can read the data, but they're not able to understand what exactly written there. Okay, so when you log the data, your data has been converted into some such a form that nobody can able to read, understand what exactly is written there. They never get the actual data, whatever you put in the box. Okay, and finally, everything obviously stored somewhere in the hard disk in your storage. Okay, but this data, whatever you have in your hard disk after you log, after encrypted, this data is known as cipher text. Cipher text. Okay, but if anybody want to read this data, obviously you have to unlock this box. Okay, unlock means, here unlock means decrypt. They have to decrypt this box. And obviously, if anybody want to unlock the box, they again need the same key that is with you. Okay, so we use a key, and from this key we can unlock or decrypt and again get the plain text. So again, very simple process. You have a plain text. Sometimes it is also written as PT, and this plain text, guys, we use some process. Sorry, that is known as algorithm. We use some process, and this process will convert my plain text into encrypted text. That's also known as ciphertext, called CT. Okay, but which algorithm you use, that will be your choice. We will going to discuss a lot of algorithm today. Okay, but this is the normal process. Okay, but the main thing here is, if you have a data, okay, if you want to log or convert to ciphertext, you have to put a key. And always, guys, the game of the key. If somebody get your key or stolen your key, they can also able to decrypt your data. Okay, so this process is called encryption. And from this, if you want to again decrypt, they will attach the same key, exactly same key. Okay, and that same key they can use to unlock it, means called decrypt this. This is called decryption. Okay, but in this scenario, if you see, for encryption and for decryption, we are using the same key. Okay, so this kind of encryption and decryption is known as symmetric key. Symmetric key. Okay, so in the cryptographic world, okay, if you heard this term symmetric key, it means we are using same key to lock and same key to unlock, and sometimes it is also known as shared key. Okay, so same key we use to lock and unlock. Okay, and how to convert, again, there's a lot of mathematics behind it. There's a lot of functions we have, a lot of algorithms we have. So every algorithm is giving a different guarantee. Some algorithms say I'm very slow. Some algorithms say I'm very fast. Some algorithms say I'm slow, but I am giving you very powerful security. Nobody can able to break your password, even though somebody put supercomputer behind the scene and try to do brute force attack, means keep on trying random keys. Okay, so I'm giving you a guarantee that maybe if you put supercomputer and randomly try to finding my keys like a password, they won't able to guess. Maybe they might take millions of years to guess. Okay, so everybody say there's a lot of algorithms in the market. A very typical old algorithm called DES. But one of the very powerful algorithm nowadays almost everybody use is called AES. But otherwise they have some more algorithm in the market. Okay, the good thing about AES is they are so much powerful. Okay, and almost all the banks and those companies, they normally use AES algorithm to lock and unlock. DES is faster, but they might be easy to break. Somehow there might be some kind of also other vulnerabilities in this algorithm. They are not so much secure, so very rarely you will see somewhere. Okay, only challenge is, if you think you have not so much computing power, okay, you want things to be faster, then you can go for DS3, and maybe other algorithm in the market. But if you think they are very much sensitive for you, little bit slowness might be okay for us, but I want my security would be at the prime. Okay, then AES algorithm you use. Okay, so otherwise there's a lot of algorithm in the market. So if you search for symmetric key, okay, algorithms, so there would be lots of symmetric key algorithm you will find. So AES is one of the very common and famous one that you can use. Okay, you might get some examples somewhere here. So this is the AES I'm talking about. Okay, but otherwise you can see DS3, CAST, Bluefish, and IDEA. These are the asymmetric algorithm. Okay, so this is one example. But in this overall, the idea of a symmetric key, the idea is, if you have a data that's called plain text, this key we can use to lock, same key we can use for unlock. Okay, but in some of the scenario, Okay, this is very much dangerous. Okay, very much dangerous. Okay, so for example, if you think you have a file, let me write here. You think you have a file, and this file you have a data, and the data is very much sensitive. Okay, so before I store this file in my hard disk, that is called storage, my hard disk. So I am the user of this file. Okay, and I am the user of my storage. This storage belongs to me. Okay, so I know this file is used by me only, this storage is by me only, but maybe possibility my storage got stolen or something like this. Okay, so for my data safety, okay, or maybe this storage your normal pen drive. So maybe my pen drive might stolen. So for my this data safety, what I'll do before I store this data in my hard disk, okay, I will log this. Okay, and for log, I will create first my key. All right, my key to log, and this key I use to log this file. Okay, and after I log this file, I log this file. After I log this file, then I store in my hard disk. So finally, in my hard disk, we always store a logged file. That is called encrypted file, or I can say I store cipher text or cipher data. Okay, so by chance anybody stolen my pen drive or it's been missed somewhere, anybody can see there's some file, but they try to read this file with cat command or notepad or any editor. They try to open this file. The file would be in very much different format, or I can say binary format, and nobody can able to get what exactly written. They can remove the file. Nobody can stop me to remove the file. Nobody can stop these guys, or maybe these are maybe hackers, to read the content in this different format, but nobody can able to get what exactly written there. Where it's been logged. So only way to get this data back is to again do a reverse process, means again put the same key, unlock the file, and get the data back. And for this hacker and the guy who get the pen drive, they should require a key. Which key? Exactly the same key. Okay, so it means again symmetric key I'm talking about. But if this kind of use case come up, then symmetric key algorithm, guys, is very much useful. But there's some scenario where symmetric key algorithm won't help you. Okay, so there's some scenario where symmetric key algorithm won't solve, but this kind of use cases symmetric key algorithm is very well, and almost everywhere you will see symmetric key algorithm behind the scene we use, maybe DES or CAST or IDEA or AES, but symmetric key algorithm is working very fine in this kind of use cases. But there's some use case I will talk about these use cases in a minute. Symmetric key algorithm is not at all useful. Okay, if you use this, the hackers will break your system, or anybody can break your system. So what are those use cases I will discuss in a minute. But in that scenario, guys, if you have to go for a different concept called asymmetric key algorithm. Okay, so there's two different kind of key we can create in a cryptography world to encrypting your data. One is symmetric key, one is asymmetric key. Okay, both has advantages, both has a disadvantages. Symmetric key advantages is this one. So when you have this kind of scenario, when you are the one gonna use, and so one key is enough, right? You know, the way you lock your vault or locker, you require just one key to lock and lock. There's no third guys come up in between. Okay, so in this kind of scenario, symmetric key is good. Okay, but there's some scenario is not good, then we have to go for asymmetric key. What are those scenario? In some minute I will explain you in detail. Okay, but here, guys, in asymmetric means you have to create two keys. One is private key and one is public key. Okay, so what I mean by this, for this I have to first explain you asymmetric key, then you come to know why we need two keys. In symmetric key, only one key we require. And that is the reason, guys, in the symmetric key, we never use the word called private key or public key. We only use the word called key. That's all. So when you heard the term key, means mostly they are talking about symmetric key algorithm. And that means they have a data, they're going to use the same key to lock and same key to unlock. Okay. So when to use asymmetric key, very useful. Almost everywhere you see this. Okay. and they also do some more thing for you. So in my today's class, I will also explain to you. But right now, I just want to focus more on symmetry key right now. Okay, but here, guys, the complete point to understand over here is, okay, if you have a data, okay, data may be in databases, data may be in file system, data may be in EBS storage, data may be a file, data may be your key value pair, data may be environmental variables. Okay, wherever you have a data, you think your data is so critical, uh, so you have to encrypt this. Okay, and now for encryption, either go for symmetric algorithm, asymmetric algorithm, depend upon the use case to use case. Okay, but any of the algorithm, you need a key. Okay, so just guys focus more in this term key. Okay, if you don't have the key, you won't able to lock it. And by chance, if you lock the data, but your key miss, you forget the key, if key is deleted, right? It is impossible anybody in the world can unlock the data. Even the guy who created this algorithm for this key, they can also won't able to unlock this. Nobody can unlock your data. So key is very critical. So if you miss, you forgot, or if anybody stolen data in the storage that is encrypted, nobody can unlock it. That's good thing. That's what we want. I don't want anybody can read my data without without my key. Okay, so now guys, here is, so focus area would be focus area would be key. Okay, and now you might guys understood key is so sensitive. Anybody who get the key of somebody, they can unlock the data and can able to read it. Okay, and guys, understand one thing, maybe our data might not be so much complex, but I'm talking about the big industries, banking, financial sector, right? They are keeping the old account of the customer, their financial record, the credit card numbers, everything, all the data they're storing it somewhere in the storage, and they log those storage, means encrypted those storage with some key. So almost every company, they have an encrypted data, right, of the sensitive data, and for them, okay, they are very much uh, feel safe about the data because data is logged. Nobody can able to unlock it. Okay, so for them, they feel relief for this part, but they don't feel relief for this part. So they have to think about the security of the key. Means key is what? Key is again like a data actually, because the computer perspective, everything is data. So key is also like a data. We have to keep the key in one of the file, and this file is normally known as a key file. Okay, so the company has to think where they have to keep this key. Okay, and guys, it's so sensitive to putting the key, and it's not like only one key they have, hundreds of team working, hundreds of different kind of data they have. Every time they have their own key, every kind of data they have own key, different locks we have, different keys we have, different algorithms use different keys. Okay, so it's not like one key they have, hundreds of keys they have to create. Every key is encrypted some other kind of data. Okay, but all these keys we have to put somewhere, we have to safeguard our key. Okay, and it's so sensitive, so critical. In the market, there are a lot of companies, what they have done just for keeping the key, or I can say managing the key. Okay, they have created a real hardwares, also known as appliances. So a lot of company has created appliances for us. Okay, so there's one company called Thales. There are more companies like this. So they have really created a real physical hardware. Okay, and they create this hardware only for one thing, to keeping all the keys in the hardware. This hardware, RAM, CPU, hard disk, but they put all the other extra security also. Okay, so if somebody trying to do something, they do a notification, somebody try to tamper this physical device, so they will notify somebody, they buzz the alarm. Okay, or maybe somebody try to tamper this box completely, they, to safeguard the key, behind the scene delete all the keys, so that my key will be deleted, but nobody can able to get the access. Okay, so there are special kind of appliances they have created, and guys, this is called hardware appliances called HSM. Okay, so if you search again in the market, HSM appliances, okay, appliances is a hardware security module, is a one device. Okay, if you see guys here, temper evident and intrusion resistant. Okay, so so uh, so these are the hardware devices they have. If you click on the images, these are the devices they have, and this device is purely created for putting the key or managing the key. Okay, and they are temper resistant, means if somebody trying to temper this device, they delete everything. They delete in such a way, if somebody try to also recover the data from the hard disk, they won't able to recover. Okay, so all the facilities and benefits they have. That's called HSM. Okay, so they have this. So main point guys over here is, we need our key to be keep somewhere, and we need our key to be managed somewhere. And almost all the company use these HSM appliances. Okay, but only challenge in this HSM appliances is they are very much costly, right? Normally, normal cost of these devices is $5,000 something minimum, right? And facility, uh, they have they keep on increasing the price. And obviously guys, it's but obvious it's a device, even though the way they create this device, they are foolproof, but this is hardware, nobody can give the guarantee of this hardware. So normally company at least buy two SSM. It's called two modules. They buy module one and second device called module two. And they create a cluster of these two guys. Okay, cluster for high availability. So due to some reason, if one of the hardware fail, one of the device crashes, okay, at least my second device to be up. And understand one thing guys, why I'm talking high availability, because here we are keeping all the keys, and without having the key available, your application won't work. Because let's say I put all of my database in RDS, or let's forget about RDS, let I put all my data in MySQL database. But wherever guys I'm putting my database, it is there in the storage. And wherever I storage, I encrypt the entire storage. So somehow anybody try to stolen my hard disk, right? They won't able to read my data directly from the hard disk. Okay. So they have to unlock the storage. And for unlocking, we put the key here. Okay, so we go to our appliance or HSM module, we get the key, unlock the the data and use it. And who manage this guy? My company admins have access. They have a power to go to these devices, get the key, use this key to unlock and read the data. Okay, so it means if your HSM device goes down, okay, so we won't able to access the key, so all the applications and data will be locked and nobody can able to unlock this. So that is the reason normally company use at least two minimum two uh, modules or two devices, put in the cluster, make a HS setup and use it. So technically if you talk about the cost here, it costs would double if you use two devices. So technically, if company use SSM devices, uh, it is very high in cost. This is one thing, and second thing is very harder to manage also, to integrate also. So we have to integrate HSM with MySQL databases, then Oracle databases, with NFS, with Samba, with other file system, with other applications. So very harder to overall manage these guys, manage these guys. So that is the reason what I need here, I need some service provider give me a facility where they say I will manage your SSM device. First of all, we will provide you managed services. What is managed service? You guys know. I will provide you managed services. Okay, for this, first of all, you don't have to buy this device upfront. So you can go for pay as we go model. We as a service provider here, I'm talking about AWS cloud. So we are the pay as we go model. Okay, come to us, ask for us from us the HSM modules is a real physical device. Okay, and don't give me upfront amount like $5,000 or something. If you use for 1 hour, just give me $2. Second hour, give me $2. So pay as you go model. And otherwise every other management creating their cluster HA part, everything is managed by our team. Okay, so they have these services available. So they have managed services available, okay, in the terms of HSM. Okay, no, I'm not talking about managed service, but managed service is not right term here. What is managed service we'll discuss in a minute. But they say, cloud say, we have one service. Okay, AWS say, I have one service where you don't have to come and to market and buy HSM module. Okay, so we have one service AWS per cloud where you can go for pay as we go model. Okay, means you just come to us and buy this device uh, per hourly basis. Okay, there's like a rent. But here I want to manage you. What is manage? I will discuss in a minute. So AWS has a one service, guys. Okay, if you go to AWS cloud, so they have one service. Let me go to main page again. I'm the again dashboard. Okay, there's one service. If you type HSM cloud. Okay, so this is one service from AWS. Okay, it is a managed hardware security module. The motto of this service is, okay, you don't have to go to market to buy this uh, real device. Okay, just go here and ask how many devices you need to create a cluster. Okay, so they have this facility. Okay, so it means these guys have already buy those devices for you. Okay, just go here and use as whenever you need. Okay, and guys, it's not about security. If you are like banking sector or some other sector also, we have to follow a lot of regulatory bodies. And they say if you are putting your data uh, of your customer, of your patient in the hospital, you have to follow this rule. Okay, for example, one of the regulation bodies called HIPAA. So all the health organization, medical or organization, hospital, they have to follow HIPAA rules. What HIPAA say, wherever you're putting your data of your customer, you should be there in the cloud. It should be there in the HSM model. It will be encrypted. Nobody can able to see it. Okay, so a lot of organization to organization, we have to follow HIPAA, we have to follow PCI, and lots of FIPS we have to follow. Okay, so now it is your choice to keeping your key, either you buy. Okay, but we don't know, maybe we might be the startup, we don't know how much time my company survive. So what I can do, I can go to this service called cloud hosted HSM. Again, it's a real device, but good thing is if you go and search cloud HSM pricing, the pricing here, so you don't have to charge $500 as upfront. Okay, so if you go to pricing, very much cheap, right? For example, region to regions vary, but if you let me go for Mumbai, so in Mumbai they are charging $2 per hour. Technically they are very high in price if you go for long term, but yeah, for some month or some days, without invest upfront, you can go and buy this. Okay, for example, let me, I want to create a cluster of 2 devices, right? And here they give me a calculation for for a month. Okay, this much charge you have to bear if you keep on using that devices. But I will charge you per hourly basis. Okay, and good thing is everything internally, the configuration part, buying part, putting those things in the infrastructure, everything is managed by us. You don't have to worry. So just click here. Just tell me which VPC you want to put. Okay, so you have to be constant with respect to VPC. Okay, so only systems in this VPCs, databases in this VPC can able to connect to this HSM devices. Okay, and which AG you want to put, maybe because of high availability, I want to put one of my device in one A data center, one of my device in one B data center, because my plan is to keep 2 devices, create a cluster. Okay. And do you want to create a new cluster? I say yes. So it's a backup part, it's a different point. Key, you guys know. And that's all. Okay. And they say when you create this, you aren't able to change the VPC because the way secured thing, right? They don't give you any options to again change. So they put in your VPC. So all of the devices who want to encrypt, they contact to the device or HSM and retrieve the key. Or I can say what a key you will create, you can put in this device because this device use is only for one thing, to keep the key. That's all. That's the only use of this device. It's a big use. It's not a small thing, guys. Your entire business is based on this one, right? So click here. That's all. So cluster will be created. So it takes some minute. It will create a cluster. Okay. And after get the cluster, my cluster won't active. You have to put HSM here. Putting HSM means you are asking the AWS just go and buy one device for me. Device the way I show you in the diagram. Just go and buy a device for me. The device that I'll show you and put in this cluster and managed by you. Okay, so that's what they ask you after some time. Okay, and as you put the device, they start charging you per hourly basis. So guys, this is not free service. I'm showing you, but if you want to test, you can test it per hourly. You have to pay $2 something over here. But I'm just showing you this service that is so simple to set up. Otherwise, anybody who work on HSM kind of device, a lot of maybe extra configuration we have to do. But everything is now managed by AWS guys. Okay, so this is not the main topic today. This is the extra topic, guys. I just want to explain you. So Cloud HSM is a one service. By chance, it is not part of our program, but this is one things I just want to introduce you. Okay, because my intention here to explain you, explain you if you need encryption, you need key. So key can give the guarantee, nobody can unlock you without the key. But where we keep the key, that's the main point. Okay, now guys, there's two options to put the key. Now, right? Either you can put the key in your own hardware, this is called HSM, this is called appliance. Okay, where now your choice is you have to buy the HSM by upfront amount, or you can go to cloud, like cloud service called Cloud HSM, to buy per hourly basis. Okay, but this is the one way you can keep your key. Other way would be, okay, you don't have to worry about to buy the HSM. Neither from the cloud guys pay for hourly, neither as upfront. Okay, just try to give your key to the cloud guys. Okay, and ask the cloud guys that you are a service provider. Okay, so I want you go and manage everything for me. I don't have to manage anything about the key. Everything you manage, even though key also you create for me. So I rely on you. You're my service provider. You're big clouds, big company in the world. We can rely on you. Obviously, you won't able to to read my key and use my key. So we rely on you. So I want you also create my key. Now it is your choice. You want to create a public key, private key, symmetric key, asymmetric key, use case to use case. But in the bigger term, I want cloud guy, you go and create the key, you go and store the key, you go and manage the key and give me all the security with respect to key. Means the complete management of the key I want you do for me. So technically nowadays guys, nowadays it is very common that all our things that we have to manage nowadays we are slowly moving to the cloud, and we are asking these third party companies that they will manage our things or our keys here. So if you ask AWS Cloud, do you have any managed services for key management? Do you have? So they say that we have KMS, key management services. Okay, where you don't have to worry about HSM. Okay, you don't have to worry about. We are giving the guarantee. Okay, whatever key we create for you, you don't have to give the key to me. So whatever key we create for you, we keep it secure, we keep it some in box. Maybe we are using HSM behind the scene. That will be our internal facility. Maybe you're putting a lot of HSM behind the scene to give you high availability. That is our way to plan the things, but we are giving the guarantee. We can give the key the way you want. You want asymmetric key or symmetric key, which algorithm you want. I can provide you those keys to you, but otherwise management of the key will be done by us. Okay, and guys, that is the use of key management services. Okay, so now by this is initialized. I'm not going to use this service right now, but it's initialized. There's number of zero SSM. So if you can go inside, and here they ask you, here they ask you in this cluster, it is uninitialized. So in this cluster, do you want to initialize? Means do you have to add one HSM appliance? Do you want to add? I say yes. So which region you want to add? Because I test two regions, so I want to add in this region of this cluster. So now guys, they will go and buy one HSM for you, or maybe they already have, they will give you a dedicated HSM to you. Okay, dedicated means, understand one thing guys, for the AWS cloud, we are user, and user is known as tenant. So they give one dedicated hardware to me. I am the tenant. Okay, so this is called dedicated tenancy. So there's a one term in the cloud world you guys might have seen multiple times. So in the cloud, there's a concept called dedicated tenancy. Dedicated tenancy. Instead, but there's one word called dedicated tenancy. It means cloud is giving me a hardware that is only dedicated to me. Okay, they're not sharing those hardware to other company, other teams. Okay, so that's what guys behind the scene they will do for you. Obviously guys, this is a secure device, right? I don't want one device they give for my company, other company also. Maybe some kind of issues come up in the future, some kind of bug come in the security, they will able to read my key. They might be not right now, but they might be exposed in the future. Okay, so here guys, they're giving you a dedicated hardware or dedicated tenancy they are working on. That's a good good thing. I click here. Now behind the scene, they start initiated. Means we go to this cluster. Okay, go to this cluster. They start initiated. Means they start putting one hardware for you. So this hardware also has some IP address for some purpose, but they put hardware. You can add one more hardware over here. And after you have both the hardware connected or maybe single hardware connected, your cluster will be up. Okay, you can see number of HSM will come up. And then you can use this SSM to put the key. The only use guys for this service is to have hardware. Rather buy from the cloud, these will give us to you as pay as we go model. But why we need this hardware? Only purpose is to keep the key. That's all. But it's very sensitive for our data. Okay, but this is not the main topic for today. A main topic for today is different. So let me go to a service called key management service. Okay, here I don't have to buy or pay as we go model for HSM. I will I will ask them, you do management, right? Uh, Key also you create. Okay, see here, key also you create, key also you manage, and other thing also you manage. So I am giving this entire management part of the key to you. Okay, but whenever I need my key to lock unlock, I will come to you, and accordingly you will help me to give me key to lock and unlock. That's all. Okay, so that's what guys they are talking about. Okay, and for this so for this they have a facility here called customer managed key. See here, customer managed key. So they have this facility. Means I am the customer of AWS. I have created account for my credit card. Let's say my account name in my case here is something, or let's say I am the root account. Okay, so my account username is root. So this is my account. Okay, so in my account I have lots of data Now data may be in database, maybe in RDS, data may be in EBS, storage, data may be in maybe some uh, variables I have in my Lambda. Okay, data is data, right? So I have a lot of data with me. Okay, and so whatever data you have any in any of the services, any of the storage. Now, if you think some of the data you want to log is very sensitive for you, for log you need a key. So either you can create your own key, and guys, creating the key is not big deal. There are a lot of tool available in the market. So if anybody use Linux, so in Linux we have free tool called OpenSSL in Linux. Cert util is one tool in Windows. So OS to OS we have a lot of tools available. The free tools, okay, free tools. By this tool we can create our own key. We can use this key to lock or unlock, and this key again use the same algorithm whatever AWS also use, like AES, same power they provide, everything they provide to you. So it is not like this. If you use symmetric algo, one of the powerful algorithms was AES from AWS cloud. So AES here give you extra security, and if you use the AES algo used by OpenSSL free command, they give you less security. It's not like this. It is exactly bit to bit same algo, same power they provide you. So guys, here challenge is not about lock and lock. Challenge is not about we are using OpenSSL command or free tool from Google Cloud or maybe some other tools. It is about, okay, when you're using any of the commands, you have to create the key. Or again, guys, creating the key is very simple. Anybody who have done some other training for me, I have might use some command called OpenSSL gen RSA or generate key, something like that. So one single command and we can create the key. So again, the challenge is not about creating the key also. Okay, after creating the key, where we keep the key, because the challenge is wherever we keep, if this key is stolen or maybe key is deleted or key is unavailable, okay, in any of this scenario, you either your data lose or somebody stolen your data. So this is very sensitive things to be done, and that is the reason I don't want to use this kind of tool that is managed by us. I want AWS. They are the one who help me to create the key, my key, this is called customer, and they also help me to manage the key or keep the key. Okay, whenever I need this key, they will provide this key to me. So they will provide a key to me. Whenever I need to log my data here or here or here, they provide to me. Okay, so for this, in the KMS is a one service in AWS. Here they give you facility that you are our customer. We can keep your managed key. Okay, and this thing, guys, I'm here in this page. But AWS managed key, we'll talk about this key also in a minute. Okay, we will manage our key. Okay, one more interesting thing I would like to tell you here is, if you go to this page, custom key store, then here KM is saying, okay, we are giving you some extra facility if you have your own personal HSM physical device from our cloud, obviously from our cloud, not in your premises, from a cloud, we can also manage this. So my KMS has a facility from this page, from this portal. Okay, we will put the key here, we can retrieve the key here. Okay, so this facility also we have. So technically, this service we can integrate with Cloud SSL. If you want to use not managed service, you want to use the cloud service, right? So if you go here, can custom key store, that's what they're talking about. Okay, so we store your key directly in your Cloud SSL. Okay, only challenge is, okay, you will have to buy maybe pay as we go model kind of thing from our cloud. Okay, but all other future management you have to do. Okay, maybe if you use only one single module, if something fail there, I am not giving the guarantee. And there's some more extra benefit So some more extra management you have to do, that everything is done by you. Okay, so get your choice, you want to use this, or normally we like to put this one. But only issue in this custom managed key here is they are not giving you guarantee of dedicated tenancy. So they have used some kind of mechanism behind the scene. They may be using some hardware modules, maybe some software modules. We don't know, but they are saying they are using some hardware modules, and they are not giving guarantee that hardware module is dedicated to you only. Even though there is no loophole, there is no security vulnerability till date, but we don't know in the future if something come up. Okay, so for a big company perspective, banking perspective, they don't use this one. If you have some kind of very critical data to store, they always go for custom key, means HSM. Okay, but if you're just application, some data is secure but not, you think is so much secure. So much means by chance if some issue come up in security, your data will lose. Very rarely means no, never happen, but might be. So so in that case, if you're okay, then customer managed key might be good. Right, so guys, there's no vulnerability gonna come up, right? So they are giving you some kind of shared hardware resources. Okay, and that is reason this is pretty cheap. Okay, so if you go for real cloud HSM, they charge you $2 per hour. Okay, if you go to custom managed key, again it is not free service, but here they charge you $1 per month. So you see the difference, guys, a huge difference, right? So obviously it's so much cheap. Only reason is because that hardware is the shared hardware. Other accounts also using the same hardware. But the way they create the management, that nobody can able to leak the things. Okay, and that is a reason. If you go to customer managed key, they are not giving you a facility to read your keys. They say everything I manage behind the scene. I don't provide your key to you, but whenever you need your key, I will somehow give you a facility, okay, to use that key without giving a key or without providing the key to you. You can use your key to lock and unlock, means to encrypt or decrypt. So what I mean by this, I will explain it. So I just want to tell you quickly here. This is a dedicated hardware, $2 per minute, sorry, per hour. This is a shared kind of hardware. Maybe again they're using real hardware like HSM, but it is $1 around per month. But guys, it's not free tier. If you click this and create, it will charge you $1 per month. Okay, what is AWS key? I will explain you in some minute. Okay, so right now, guys, let me go for customer managed key. That's called CMK. Okay, so plan again is same. Okay, I want to encrypt my encrypt my data. So I have plain text. I want to lock it. It become cipher text. That's my plan. For this, I need a key. Question is who create and who keep my key securely and who provide me key whenever I need. Okay. When you want to lock, that time you need a key. And again, you need a key again one more time when you want to unlock. So who will provide the key to me? So all this facility, guys, can be done by KMS service. Okay, this service I'm talking about. Only what you have to do, you have to come here and create a key. Click here and create a key. And guys, now they are very clear which type of key you want. Symmetric key and asymmetric. Asymmetric public private key they will create for something. What something use cases I haven't discussed yet. I will discuss after some minutes, sorry. Okay. What is symmetric key? I already explained you. Single key for both operation, encryption and decryption. Okay. So like I say, it's not good same key we use for both, but it's not like it's bad also. Depending on use case to use case. The use case that I was talking about, if this is your data, if this is your storage, you want to uh, if you don't want your storage to be used by some other guys, you are the one who always lock and lock for your data safety. So in that context, symmetric key is great. Okay, and so powerful, nobody can able to break it. But yeah, somebody get your key, obviously anybody can break the key data. Okay, so that's what. So right now, guys, I'm going for symmetric key. And if you go to advanced option here, okay, so now they are talking about who will create a key. This is called key material origin. Who will create the key for you? Okay, so you want to go for HSM. So key would be created or managed inside Cloud HSM. If yes, then you have to configure this part. Okay, so for example, if I click next, okay, so I don't have this part yet set. So there's no option come up. Okay, so I'm not going for this part, because for this I have to first set up this. So in my case, guys, one is already connected, but I have to do some more setup here. So so that is not important right now. But technically, everything I explain about Cloud HSM high level. Okay, so I'm not going for this. Go back. If you go to advanced option, there's one more option called external. Okay, and where where you can import your key also. There's also one more facility they have. Means you can create your own private key in your laptop in Windows or Linux, whatever commands they have like OpenSSL or certutils. You can create your own private key. Okay, so creation part will be done by you. But again, guys, main important thing is not about creation. Important thing is keeping. How securely we can keep. Okay, so creation part we can do. Okay, and after do we can upload my key. Okay, upload my key over here. Okay, so that's all also one thing you can do. Okay, but it is not good. Yeah, you create your key, then upload the key. Maybe your key might be still exist in your laptop, somebody might have stolen, so it's not good to use external service. But yeah, there might be some use case for this. Your company is still using some private key, they keep on running, putting this private key in their servers. Now they want to migrate to the cloud. Okay, and they want their private key now to be managed in, or maybe the key to be managed in the cloud. Okay, so that time they don't want to change something in the application, because application is still using the same key. So that time you can upload their key here and delete from their server. Okay, so in that context, external will be a great option. Okay, but right now I don't have to focus here also to just go to KMS. Means my key creation is also done by KMS. So pretty straightforward concept. But other options also we have, depend upon scenario, what facility you want. So let me guys create a document for you. So if you go to AWS specialized security exam, the concept that I'm explaining here about KMS, so almost all the questions come in that examination you will able to solve. I'm talking about guys specialized program about of security I'm talking about. Okay, but yeah, some question might come in your developer track also, or CSA. So obviously that is a very basic questions, very easily you can solve it if you're planning to go for examination. Otherwise, for real use cases, everything I'm trying to touch here. Okay, so let's go for KMS. So my origin of the key means who will create the key for me. KMS is the one who create the key for me. Okay, just here you can give a key name. Right now it's called alias, but right now for many guys think this alias is like a key. So let's say this is my key. Let's what? Okay, so this is your key name you have given here. Otherwise everything is pretty straightforward. Tag and all the things you can add. Click next. Okay, now guys, here they are asking about key administrator. Means you guys know in the AWS cloud, okay, normally we have lots of users also known as IAM user. Okay, so maybe in your account you have Vimal user, you have Tom user, you have Eric user. Okay, and right now I'm logging from a root user. And we guys know it's not good practice to work from directly from the root user. That part I already explain you in my IAM topic. Okay, so right now what actually we are talking about here is we are going to create a new key. Okay, so we have to tell who can admin this key, who has the entire power on this key. So the key I'm going to create, who can admin this key. So I can tell Vimal after login, they can have an entire power in this key. So Vimal can read the key, do some edit operation, do some remove operation. So entire power Vimal will have. We can see this. But who can use this key? So let's say my company has some project. My project has have some team and team have multi-member. So I want to give only Tom user to have a power to use this key. So this is a user for my key. Use means get the key, lock the data, get the key, unlock the data. So entire power locking, unlocking, encryption, decryption, I want to give to a Tom user. Obviously, after Tom login, they can use this key to lock or unlock. Okay, and we will have all the power. They can also delete and do some edit operation in the future. So that's what guys are talking about. Okay, so who can admin your this particular key? Okay, so all the user that have created till date is come up here. Okay, or if you don't select, don't select, so only administrator can able to delete this key. Okay, or I can say if you don't select, almost all the user will have to do admin power on this. But let me go do a little bit very practical here. Practical means what I'm doing here. I'll go to my IAM because you guys know about IAM. I'm going to IAM and I'm going to create two users there. Two users there. Okay, Vimal, I already have. That's nice. So in the user also A I have here. Okay, that's nice. So two users I have, Vimal and user A. So I want to give Vimal will have an entire power in this key. And there's one user called user A. Okay, will have a user power. Which means they can decrypt and encrypt. So this is a main user in our team who can get my key, lock the data, unlock the data. So obviously this user is not as anything. It is a very sensitive user for us, right? Because this has a guy has power to lock and unlock the data. So that's what I'm giving to user A. So that's what they're asking you. Who can admin? So let me select Vimal. So Vimal is a user who can admin this key. And who can use this key means the user. So my user A is the one who can use this key. Otherwise, you can create some other account and they can use this particular key. Okay, click next. And now you guys know whenever you talk about anything about what I say, access, who can access what. So normally we have a policy document. In the IM class I talk about. So so they create this JSON policy document for you. You don't have to worry about, but they create a for you. So they said this is a review and this is what we are doing. And what it is written, they are written that there is a one user, okay, in your computer, the name is called Vimal. Okay, and this is the full name of this user is called ARN. You guys know every things you have in AWS is they have ARN, resource name. Okay, and technically one more word I just want to tell you here is in IAM, whenever you create a user is also known as principal. Okay, so they're talking about, I'm sorry guys, right? Wrong spelling, PAL, principal. Okay, so this is the principal way. So if you talk about user or principal, it's same thing. Normally in the security world, user is sometimes known as principal. Anybody who know Kerberos kind of security, we don't use the word user. Normally we use the word called principal, but it's same kind of thing. Okay, so we have a user called Vimal, and this user has a power allow on what in KMS. And what power they have? They can create, describe, enable, list, put, disable, delete, all the power they have. See here, all the power they have. Okay, and all the resources of KMS. Because Vimal has been here, the admin user. But if you go down, we have one more principal user called user A. This has very limited power. Again, I told you guys, user have only limited power. What user can do? They can get the key, they can lock the key, unlock the key, and all the things. data, right? So here they have a, they can get the key, they can decrypt the data from the key, they can encrypt the data from the key. Again, some extra information. So only limited thing of power they have over here. Okay, so we can see this document, or maybe if you want to add it also, if you want, you can add it. But otherwise, I don't require this. Just showing you a review. This is called policy document of KMS. Okay, and for my root account, right now I'm logging from a root account. Okay, I have the all the power in KMS. So in the KMS, everything I can do. Okay, so all the power I have here. Okay, let me finish this. So you don't have to do any changes here, but that's what they're talking about. So technically in my custom managed key, okay, this is the key has been created. Okay, so if you click here, so first of all guys, it is enabled. This is the symmetric key, means one key for lock or one key for unlock, encrypt, description, use. This is uses of my key. Okay, and if you click in this key, okay, here they talk about who is the admin, Vimal. Okay, who is the user, user A. Okay, this is the complete description they talk about. If you talk about cryptographic configuration here, okay, this key is KMS origin, means I am not the one who upload the key. It's not external key, or my key is not coming from HSM. It's not coming from a hardware appliances. It is being created by AWS only. Okay, and managed by AWS only. Okay, so good thing is anything that key that is created by AWS guys. Okay, even though you are the owner of this account, you are the owner of this key, but you don't have power to download the key. The key is purely safe in the AWS somewhere in the appliance, whatever they use. Okay, you can only use this key to lock and unlock without having this key. And how to lock and unlock, I will show you a demo in a minute. Okay, that's what the origin KMS means. Okay, and anything else here, tags, we haven't set the tag, key rotation is not right now important, alias is just a name of this key. Okay, so guys, this is the high level thing about this page. Okay, now let me show you how to use this. Okay, understand one thing, I would like to again refer same point here. Okay, only use of KMS service is to manage or keep the key. Now your key, it doesn't matter it is a symmetric key or asymmetric key. Key is stored somewhere in your AWS cloud, and they're giving you a guarantee that nobody can gonna hack this key, and they are giving the guarantee your key would be always available. High available. How they managing that will be their lookout. So that's what they are doing. Now as a user, you have to decide which data you want to log, or which plain text or plain data, okay, you have to encrypt. When you encrypt, this become a cipher text or cipher data. So let's say we have some critical data. Critical data, I want to log this data, so I can put this key here to encrypt, so this will create, or somebody access this data and nobody can able to get actual data. But if you want to get this data back, okay, so only guy who can back who has this key, so we can put the again same key to unlock this. So let me guys show you this demo very quickly. Okay, and for this what I'm doing here, I'm using the command line of Windows. And in my command line, I already log in with my AWS account in my CLI. And right now, guys, I have logged in with the password, login name password of one of my user. Okay, and I already log in, guys, with the login name user of the account called Vimal in my last classes. And because Vimal is the owner of this key or the admin of this key, so Vimal have all the power. Or maybe you can log in with user A also. How to log in, you guys know in the command line. And because this guy has a power to again to use, you can also use this. Okay, so any user who has the power to do something on this key, you can log in to your, I already log in, so I don't want to log in again. Okay, so now, so in AWS carry command, we have an option called AWS KMS. So because we are going to use this service, and let me take the help of this service. What can we do? So if you go to this service, it's a pure encryption service. If you go down, you can find some options, maybe some commands, and what they're talking about. They say if you want to encrypt some data. So let's say my plan is something like this. So what I'm going to do, okay, and just one more thing, guys. And now it doesn't matter your data is where. There might be possibility, okay, your data is there in your personal Windows, maybe your images or videos or something folder maybe. So your data would be anywhere in the world. Okay, but you can lock the data and unlock the data, and that key you are managing inside AWS cloud. So key is managed by AWS, but locking data, unlocking data would be anywhere. Keeping this data after lock, you can put anywhere. And that's what guy I'm going to show you. Okay. So right now this is my Windows. Let me go to one of my folder, let's say document folder. Let me create some folder called, like, say, my secure folder. Okay. So what I'm going to show you here is, okay, let's say I have one very sensitive file. Let's say as.txt is very sensitive file. Here I keep my credit card number, CVV number, or some other password, let's say. Okay. So here I'm keeping, or let me put it very straightforward. I put my password, a very sensitive password. I don't want anybody can see it. So by the time anybody stolen my laptop, or maybe anybody can get my hard disk for my laptop, and they can put this hard disk in their laptop, and they can mount the hard disk, they can see this file, and they can read this file, and you can see entire data. So what can you do? If you think this file or video image is very sensitive for you, lock this file. And for lock, you need key. And now where you have the key, your key is there in the AWS cloud. Okay, so how to lock? Then here, guys, I can take the help of AWS KMS services. And very quickly, if you again go to document and the help, or you can go here, AWS KMS CLI. So you can find some commands here. Okay, and right now, because we are looking for encryption, so command may be very much logical. You are looking for encrypting something. So click here, and because you want to encrypt, so command name is encrypt. So my further option would be ANCRYPT, encrypt. Okay, and for encrypt, guys, they give you a lot of options. And guys, first of all, they're talking about, because you are using symmetric algorithm. Okay, so we are using some kind of default encryption, and mostly default encryption here, if you read up and down, they are talking about, they are using AES. Okay, this is one thing. Now if you go down, they're giving you a syntax of this command, and they are showing you, just tell me what data you want to encrypt. So option is plain text. So do you want to encrypt hi, hello, you can directly put your data here to to encrypt or decrypt. Okay, but right now my data is in there in the file. Okay, so if you go down in the plain text option, okay, plain text option, this is the file that you can decrypt. Okay, and if you go extra more down, you will see. Okay, 1 minute. So you will see the format. This is one of the example they have. So if your data is there in the file, so you can give the file path, but you have to use this particular format, file B. So this is a format they support in this option. Okay, so it would use -, or not -, file B /s. And right now, guys, my file name is s.txt. So just give the path of your file. Okay, so this is a file I have used. Let me hit enter. Let's see what happened. Okay, so this command guys fail, and they say in this command it is compulsory to provide this variable also. So if you see guys here, this variable you have to provide. And obviously guys, if you're locking any file, you tell me, you tell which key to use, because in your account, because I already log in my AWS account, in your account there might be lots of key. Okay, which key you want to use? So in my case I want to use this key, and guys every key they give some unique ID, and this is the ID they have. This is key ID. Okay, so here you have to pass your key ID. Means in your account there might be 100 key, but which key you want to use to log the data in this file. Okay, so now if I hit enter, okay, internally, you know what happened internally, this entire data from my laptop uploaded to AWS cloud. They have the private key. This is not a private key, guys. It's just an ID. They have the private key. They never said to us. They use that private key, lock my data, and keep my data, and they give back me my data. And guys, the log data is known as ciphertext. So this is ciphertext blob they give me. So from here till here, this is actual my data, and the data is called your encrypted data. And we use here symmetric. Right, guys, but you see in the entire operation, my laptop don't have the private, even though this is my account, but AWS never provide me the key. They say this is managed by me. I want to give you best security. If I provide to you, maybe your key might hack from your laptop. Okay, so they give back me the SAP, and guys, this is the data I have. And after you lock your data, whatever text file you have, remove it. Okay, and keep this data in your laptop. Okay, so this file may be image file or video file. So you have bigger ciphertext that will keep the image file or the log of your video file. But when I run this command, they give you a lot of other options of which key they use, which algo they use, but I'm not interested. I'm interested only this part. So we can do, there's one command guys in the command line, this is called query. So whenever any command give you a lot of output in the command line, they give the output with key and value pair. So what key you are interested on, get the key name and enter. Now here they only retrieve the value of this one because that's what I'm interested on, because this is my final data. Okay, but guys, by again they give you output in double quotes. My value start from here and here, so I can tell here what format I want to have the output. So I'm saying here my output format would be in tabular format. Table means only text you print in table, because I don't have more things here. So finally they give me output in this table format, or not in the tabular format. Tabular won't be the better actually. I think text might be better. That's what I want. So this is my cipher data, means my log data. So anybody who is stolen your laptop, who get this data, they never understand what exactly we written there. And right now there's just printed here. This is printed here, and that's one thing as data lock is always same. See here, whenever you run this command, you will always see the same data, because you're not random. It's a fixed algo they use behind the scene to log it. And now finally, you store data in some file. Like let's say this file is called secure.txt. So I can save over here. Okay, and now if I run dir, this file we have. And after we lock it, I don't need this file, so just go and remove this file. Okay, so we can remove this file. And I keep this file in my laptop. Okay, so let me guys share this command to you. So I can keep this file in my laptop. Okay, but yeah, whenever I need this file again in the future, okay, I can use this file to again unlock. So this is my log file. Okay, and whenever I need to see my actual data, this is my log data. Whenever to see my actual data, and guys, I told you, whenever encrypt doesn't mean you are stopping to view. Anybody can view data, but nobody can understand what is actually data. Nobody can able to unlock it. They can see the real data, but you can read because you have your own key in your AWS account, and you already log into your AWS account, so you can use operation called decryption to again get your data back. Okay, so for this, again, you go to document here. If you go back, there's one command is called decrypt command, and again you take the help how decrypt command work. Okay, so these are the options they have, and here obviously they're talking about to decrypt I need your cipher data. So I can use AWS KMS. I want to decrypt. Okay, and option that they're asking is tell me the file name where your log data stored. Okay, that's all. Obviously guys, this command fail again. Okay, why they fail? Okay, they fail because of of one reason. Okay, one of the reason is there are multiple reason here, but one of the reason is uh, obviously when you're decrypting you need a key. Which key? Same key, because symmetric algorithm. And your account you might have multiple key, so you have to give a key ID here. So I have one key ID you have to provide. Okay, and your key ID is this one again. So I'm asking my account that I have a lot of key, but I want to use this key ID that has some private key. I don't know my private my internal key, but whatever key you had in your storage, get that key. I'm providing you this data. I'll lock it, decrypt this, and show me the the final output. Okay, enter. Again, guys, same error come up what you had previously. Why this error come up? Pretty simple reason, because guys, whenever there's one more concept guys in the cryptography world, and there's a lot of guys, very limited guys who know the actual meaning of that concept. Very simple concept, but very limited guys know why we have this. Okay, so guys, there's a very common thing whenever you have a data. Okay, so it is good practice when you think guys you have a data, and data maybe some kind of sensitive data, maybe let's say password, let's say Red Hat. Okay, so most of the time guys, while doing a programming while doing programming, in my programming I have to use some variable. In the variable we have to keep our data, maybe sometime printing we have to show our this data, and this data is so critical, maybe CVV number, credit card number. Okay, so technically there's a lot of use case where you want to print the data, show your screen to somebody, and display your screen to somebody, and you want as soon as somebody see my screen, they can very easily figure out my actual text is Red Hat, and this is my sensor data. Though my chances of this getting the data quickly to fit in their mind very quick. Okay, and that is reason is very highly recommended. Whenever you think you have some data, you have some critical data, don't store this data directly. Do one thing: convert this data in some other form, and that form is called encode. Okay, so what encode will do? Encode will convert this data in another form, but it's not encryption. Encryption means convert the data again other form, but using the key. Okay, if you want to use this data back without the key, you won't able to get it back. Okay, but here guys, I'm not looking for to if somebody stole my data and they can read it. My plan is maybe while doing programming, if somebody quickly open the code, or maybe if I print something somewhere, for example, here maybe I open this file, let's say this one, and quickly anybody can read my data. So either I keep my data in this format, in the real format, uh, so that anybody can very quickly store this information in their mind, and they can use my password somewhere else. So better I keep my password or my sensitive information in this way. Okay, what I can do, okay, to make it a little bit complex for somebody to remember my text, right? I can encode my text in some big number or some random numbers. Okay, so there the use of guys encoding come in play, and there's a lot of algorithm for encoding. One of the very famous algorithms is called Base 64. Okay, and because this encode, we don't not need any key for this. So in your program also, you want to use the actual data. Okay, you can again very quickly decode with the same algorithm. Okay, this is called decoding. Okay, so main point guys I want to talking about here. A lot of guys think encoding, decoding, encryption, decryption same thing. It's not at all different thing. It's not at all same thing. It's a very different thing. Main motto behind encoding, decoding, a lot of guys use in the market, but they never know why they're using. And there's very obviously questions they come in the mind, and they always say if we can encode data, anybody can decode it with the same algo. So why so secure? So it is not for security actually, right? It is about this example, right? This example means if somebody quickly open my file and they can see my code, and very quickly they can figure out what password I have. Rather than I show my password very in the simple format, right? For that point in time, to putting my data in the console and to print here, I can rather than encrypt decrypt, okay, because encrypt decrypt I have to provide some extra key to my code, right? Or it also a slow operation comparative. For that point, I can convert my data in base64 encode format. Okay, so what I'm talking about, almost all good tools, okay, good tool, they say whenever I need password, okay, I need password or I need key, okay, I need your input in encode format one. Okay, I know anybody can decode and encode, but it is good practice to provide in the encode format. So it will extra give some extra security. Uh, you know that rather than you show this password Red Hat or this key Red Hat directly, at least we are giving some bigger number, so it's very harder for somebody to read. You have somebody doing screen recording. There's a different point. They can type my big password and again decode, but there's a different point. But some extra bit extra security, we get it. Okay, so there's a lot of tool guys in the market. We have, for example, if you search for base 64 encode or decode. So let's say this is one tool we have online website, or a lot of commands we have. So let's say I have some data hello. So rather than I provide this hello data directly to somebody, I can encode, click here. So they will provide this kind of data. So by looking at this number, it's very harder to guess that there's a hello, and I can use this data somewhere where I have to keep this. Okay, and whenever I need to decode, okay, so again we have a tool um, in the market, for example, encode or decode to do it. So this is my decode tool. I put the same data what I decoded, I can click and it will give me data back. So anybody can also do it by having this number, but by looking at this number, you understand one thing, it's very hard to guess what exactly it is. So very quickly kind of displaying some information rather than you show your hello or Red Hat or any password and a CVV number, just encode this. And that's what guys this tool is doing. Okay, so this tool is saying, okay, the file that we have provided to you, okay, this is not the actual. Let me again explain you what exactly they are doing. So they are saying, okay, you have some very sensitive data, let's say Red Hat, in one file. Or let's forget about Red Hat. This is what might confuse right now because I use the same example in encode. So let's say you have some some important file with a lot of sensitive information or data, and you want to keep this data in your hard disk. Okay, so what you have done, you encrypt it. Okay, and your new data come up. This is called cipher data or encrypt data. But because you are using KMS here, so KMS have done and convert this data or created a cipher text, and nobody can decrypt this without having the key. Okay, but KMS will provide this data not in actual cipher format. They again further encode your data with base 64 encryption. Okay, so guys, the data they provided here is base 64 encryption. This is not actually your cipher text, it is base 64. And guys, normally base 64 normally end with equals to. So when we see equal to in the last, mostly they are base 64 encryption. Okay, so what are data they output? They are cipher text, then they encode it. Okay, so that's what they done. But if you want to do decryption, okay, again you want to get a data back, decryption. Okay, so this decryption tool don't have a capability to read encoded data. Okay, they can only decrypt ciphertext. So what we have to do, if you have to first decode our data back to our ciphertext, and this data we have to provide to our decryption tool. Okay, so this is about guys tool to do, guys. Maybe decryption can do this thing also for you behind the scene, but decryption say I am a decryption, right? I don't do a decode. So whatever data you have right now, you have to first decode this data. How to decode? Base 64 algorithm you use. So I can copy this entire data, okay, entire data in some of these kind of websites when they help me decode, or there's a lot of tool available in market. If you go to Red Hat, we have OpenSSL command, they have options to decode, or base 64 command, they have capability to decode. But right now I'm in Windows by chance. Windows by chance. So in the Windows, we have a command called uh, certutil. Certutil. This command has a capability to to decode. Okay, so I think option is decode. So this command help you to decode. So here I can is maybe single hyphen. Yeah. So here guys, they're asking you, tell me which file you want to decode and give me output file. So I'm saying this is the file we have. Okay, and convert this file, let's say in underscore d decode format. That's all. So finally, they get this file and decode this. And now if I open this file, now guys, this file will show you the actual encrypted format. Because guys, whenever data is encrypted, your data is very much binary. Okay, what I mean by binary, this is the actual binary. This is actual encrypted. So nobody can able to read what is there. I know this data come from my text file that has a Red Hat, but Red Hat is converted to this format, so nobody will be able to read what is this. So this is actually actual encrypted. So otherwise, you can, there's a lot of tool level in the market you can use to decode. So this is a base 64 decode we have done. Okay, what I've done this, maybe I want to keep my data in actual encrypted format, or one more reason here why I would like to decrypt here. So decode here because I want to again decrypt to get my data back, and decryption tool of KMS is only decrypt a ciphertext. Okay, now my ciphertext is there in this file. Okay, so again, let me go back to my command of decryption. And I tell my actual decrypted data is in this file. Now if I run this, now there's no error come up, and they say we have again reused the symmetric algorithm, and whatever data you have in this file we have decrypted. And we are converted into plain text. But again, understand one thing. Right now I quickly show you the decrypted data. Okay, but actual data was read, but they show me this one. So by chance, if anybody looking at the screen, it's very harder to guess what is the actual text. I guess this is a beauty of encoding or decoding. So almost all the encryption decryption tool, the final data they always want to show in encoded format. So just by looking at the screen, it's very harder to guess. But if you want to get your actual data, this is not your actual data, this is encoded form. I can copy this data in some other tool, let's say here, and I can paste here this data. So what you will get the actual text or plain text from where we have started. Okay, if I decode this, what you will get, you will get Red Hat. Okay, that was my actual data. If you see here, by chance I haven't removed my actual file, but if you see this, so this is what from where we started. Okay, so encoding decoding is not critical thing here. Don't be too much emphasize on that point. Main thing here is I have this file, okay, and I encrypted this file with a key, and this file created. Then I have this file. I again use key to decrypt and get my data. Either you print here, you store in the file, that would be your choice. So encryption and decryption working great. There is no challenge. But the most important thing is not about encryption, decryption, is about the 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 thing that is helping me to do encryption and decryption is my key, and that key is not managed in my laptop. We every time getting the key from AWS KMS services. Okay, so that's the main thing, and there's the only use of KMS service. So this service is not helping you to encryption decryption, that you have to do manually, or your program has to do manually. But this guy is asking you to to manage the key. So let me show you guys one quick practical on this. Okay, so everybody know Lambda. So right now, guys, I'm doing encryption decryption manually. Okay, so for manual, I am using this command. Okay, maybe you have some file or image and video in your laptop. You can encrypt your videos here and keep here. And when you want to view the video, you can go and decrypt. So this command you can use. Okay, so I told you guys key is there in AWS, but wherever you want to encrypt decrypt, you can do it. Okay, or maybe there might be possibility I have some data in my Lambda, and that data I want to encrypt decrypt. So let me show you guys one great use case where you can use encryption decryption in Lambda. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to create a function, and guys, this example is about how to integrate Lambda with KMS. So I'm going to create a new function. Let's say is a F secure function. Just give some name. And my runtime here is again Python. I am picking. Okay, and that's all. My function created. Everybody know about, guys, Lambda. We have already discussed in very detail about Lambda. Okay, and what I'm doing here, guys, in the Lambda, I am going to create one code, very simple code that you guys know how to create. So I'm going to create one code, and good thing is they already created one code for me. Okay, but let's say in my code I have very important variable to use. Let's say X is one variable that has some data, let's say hello. And what I'm doing here, I'm just returning my X. Okay, very simple code, nothing special here. Okay, let me remove unwanted comments. Okay, so very simple code. Let me deploy, let's copy the code, and let me run this code to test. When you test something, just give some name here, my test, just a random name. You guys know the use of this, but right now there's nothing great meaning of this line. And when I run my code, there's no error, everything's working great, and they respond me with hello. Even though if you see in the top, there's no error come up, and they respond me with the hello. Okay, everything worked good. Okay, because my function uses, my function gonna return me what I have written here. Hello. Because while writing your code, maybe in Python or Node.js, while writing your code, it is very much, you'll see a lot of time in your code. Actually, first of all, your code is not managed only by you. You have a team actually. Okay, and this team have multiple members, and they are writing the code. And mostly somewhere in the code, it is very common. Somewhere in the code, you have to use some value, and this value is not simple actually. It's very critical. This value may be the password of your database. So in the code, very common, you have to keep the password, and you have to use this password somewhere. Right now I'm just reading the password. Obviously nobody had to read in the password, but this password you use, you write further code here, and this password you can use to connect your database, and from the database you want to put some and get some data. Okay, so this is Python code, but without putting your password and some other credential here, something might not work. So having some critical information in in your uh, code is very common. Okay, but now it means, because a lot of guys are working in this code, And let's say you are the only one who have the data password. But if you keep the password here, anybody can read your password, and obviously it's not good for security. And if you don't keep the password here, your code will fail, because without having the password, how you log into the database? So both thing I need, I want to keep my password here, and plus I want, after keep my password, nobody can able to read my password. Okay, so this is the guys very common use case we have. So how we can do? Okay, so obviously what can we do? If you want to keep your password here, okay, and nobody can able to see it also, okay, so what can we do? We can convert this string into a different format, and it's called encrypted data, or I can say ciphertext. So in that context, your password will be here, but by looking at this password, nobody can able to convert this password into real format, because this is the encrypted text or ciphertext. Only way to convert this password into the real format is the key. We need a key, and this key, guys, you don't provide to other team members, because every team member has their own AWS account. And let's say my account name is Vimal, so I keep my key in my account. And I can the one who can, I'm the only one who can use this key to log this password, to unlock this password. Okay, so that's what our plan is. So how can we do? So for this, okay, as such, we don't have a direct option from the Lambda to lock this password. We can write some code, there's a different point, but we don't have a direct option, simple option that level. We can write some extra Python code to lock, unlock. So the code will be maybe a little bit complex. Okay, so for this, what Amazon has provided, they have options to lock or unlock, or encrypt only, encrypt a environmental variables. Okay, what I mean by this? Okay, because it is very common in the programming world. Okay, if you want to use any text, either you can type directly here, or Python or other languages has a capability, they can retrieve your value directly from your environmental variable. Okay, so what I mean by this, you guys know about Windows. So if you search env, okay, you can here you can create environmental variables like this. Okay, you can set a variable here, for example, new, and you can set variable is called my value equals to, let's say, Jack, something like this. Okay, so like this, Windows, Linux also have, you go to shell command line, and you can set some variable and value. So this is called environmental variable. You have to set in your respective OS. But your programming has a capability to go to your OS, okay, and retrieve the value of my variable or X variable directly from your OS. This is called environmental variable. Okay, so there are a lot of use cases, guys. We have in the programming world. Obviously, I'm not in the programming here right now. So we normally set a lot of value in our OS, and I want my program will retrieve from my OS. Right? That's called environmental variables, right? So I'm setting here. Okay, so that's what, guys. The Lambda also give you a capability, because right now Lambda is a function as service, and we don't have a capability to go to OS level, because there's no way to go to OS where Lambda is running the program. But it's very common in the program, we have to use a variables, right, from the environment. So here they give you options to set an environment variable. So what I'm doing here, I'm just clicking edit. I'm creating some environmental variable, and let's say my variable name is called my name, just a variable name, or let's say the value is Vimal. Okay, so this environment variable we have created. So guys, right now there's no about thing about security. Let me see. So let's say one environmental variable you set in the Lambda, because Lambda doesn't provide you the OS access. I can't go there, but behind this in Lambda will set this variable for us. Okay, the variable for us. Okay, but if you want to use this variable in your respective language, every language has a function for this. For example, if you talk about Python, So in Python, they have one module called OS, and inside the OS, uh, OS, we have a function called env, environmental function. And this function has a capability to retrieve any of your variable from your OS. So by the my environment variable is called my name. So if you go here, my name. Okay. So by this, I can retrieve my value of this variable from my OS. But let me guys store this thing in Y, for example, and let me try to return what the output come up. But let me remove this. I don't want this right now. Okay. So this is a pretty typical Python function we have. So this function in the Python will go to your OS, and in the OS, what are the shell variable you have or environment variable you have, they will go there, retrieve the value, put in the Y, and they will return. So let me again, guys, run my code. There's no error. If you see, guys, response is visible. So they go to environment variable and retrieve the response variable. So guys, till here, there's no meaning of security. Is a very typical functionality of Lambda and plus your programming language. Okay, but now because now the value of this guy or variable come from our environmental variable, and this is I'm managing in Lambda as a service or function as a service. So Lambda has given a facility, and they say if you think this variable value Vimal is very sensitive and you don't want this value can see by anybody from here or from here also, because a lot of guys are working in this team, you don't want to present this value to anybody. So what can you do? You can directly put and encrypt this value here. So we support encryption. And understand one thing, guys, if you encrypt any data, and this data is stored in a file, and file, guys, always store in a hard disk. So this file or this data is known as encryption at rest, because my data is resting in the storage. So this is called encryption at rest. Encryption at rest. Okay. So if you think you want to keep this data in a hard disk, in the storage, in the OS, but you want encryption at rest, means technically you want to encrypt, then we have option called edit here. Okay. And here we have option called encryption configuration. Okay. And here you can enable this option. Right now, guys, there's no option of encryption here, but you can enable the encryption. As soon as you click, this option come up. Okay. And now, guys, here, if you want to encrypt, okay, obviously, guys, what do you need? Key. Okay. And that's what guys are talking about. You are getting the key from KMS. Which key you want? Okay. There's one key, guys, called AWS managed key that I haven't discussed yet. This key, or you want a key custom managed key. So right now, guys, I want to use my key that I created. Okay. So I can click here, use customer managed key. Okay. And guys, custom managed key also they put in one box. That's called custom master key. So I am the customer. So I have one big key that's not again provided to me. So all my data will keep inside my big key. It's called customer master key. Okay, but if you see here, both the keys come up. But okay, this is the key we have created right now. Okay, and I'm using this key. So this key is the one. Again, this is there in the AWS. This is just a key name. So I'm asking my AWS to retrieve this key, get this data, and encrypt this data for me. I don't want to keep my data in this way. In this way. So guys, it is very again very advanced use case and very important use case. Right? If I click here, okay, here they're talking about which key you want to use. Again, this key. Okay, and if you click here, your data will be encrypted. Okay, so guys, finally we see here in the top, now your data has been encrypted. Okay, so now in your account, you won't have to put, you don't have to put your data in the same format. Whatever data value you have here, in my case is Vimal, it has been encrypted in other format. This is called encryption data. Okay, and one good thing about the AWS here is, if you again click on encrypted, Here they give you a code. This called snippet. Okay. And they say if you want to use this value, then you have to put this code in your actual code. So let me copy this code. What I mean by this code, you don't have to create, they will create for you. Okay. And let me save again. Okay. And let me save this part also. Now, first of all, you see here your password or your variable. Now you don't have a value here. Your value is been purely encrypted. Okay. But this variable name is same because variable name is like a variable. We are mostly concerned about value. But if you want to use this value here, the way you use, okay, you can't use it in this way. Okay, if you try to use in this way and if you try to run it, you know what a response you get? You get the response of encrypted value. Okay, and encrypted value nobody can understand. Maybe this encrypted value, maybe your database password, you won't able to use it. Okay, so if you want to decode this this value, so this snippet you have to copy here. Sorry, where it is. Again, let me go back here, go to edit. They give you a code, either you write, okay, or just copy paste the code from here, copy, okay, cancel, and I'll paste my code here. Okay, so this code is what this code is saying. We have one environment variable called my name. I'm getting this value in this variable. It's the same way that I did here. Okay, but this variable is encrypted. So I'm using some Python internal library called Boto3. Is one of the SDK, means Python has a capability to go to AWS. They're contacting to KMS service and calling it decryption function, okay, to decrypt this data. Okay, and I'm using some kind of key behind the scene, what a key you attached there. So this is one fun Python code. Either you know Python or you know how to write a Python code for AWS. You guys know this code. Otherwise, this code they give to you. Okay, so technically my data is encrypted format, and without putting this here, now there's no Red Hat password here. There's no Red Hat password here. So anybody who accesses my Lambda services, they never know where is my Red Hat password or what is my actual password. Everything is encrypted, and only the guy who can run this code is me, because I am the owner of that key, whatever I attached. If anybody try to run this code, they won't able to run this code because they don't have power, because they are not the owner of my key. Okay, after they decrypt it, now where I want to use, for example, just for testing, I don't need this line. Okay, just for testing, I just copying my decrypted data here. Copy and paste, just for testing. Okay, let me save. Okay, so by chance anybody who run this code, first of all guys, by looking at this code, by looking at the variable, nobody can find out what is my credit card number or my password. Okay, but maybe they can try, they can write a print statement to print so that they can see the decrypted data, but they can't, because this decryption will done by KMS, by the key that I attached, and key is being honored by somebody, and I am the Vimal, or I am the root account, I am the owner, so I am the one who can use. So my other team member who wanted to try to read this key, they can't, because while creating the key, I have attached there the admin of key is only Vimal or maybe this user. And that is the reason, guys, attaching the right user is so important. If you give all the user power, so anybody can read your data, so there is no meaning of security there. Okay, so attaching the user is called policy, is again very critical here. It's called key policies. Okay, so let me change my code, deploy my code. Okay, and let me test it. So behind the scene, I am connecting to from Lambda, connecting to KMS and asking to decrypt my key. Guys, this time they fail, this error come up. You see in the top also error come up, and try to see the error. And this error come because of the timeout. Okay, guys, if you remember in my AWS Lambda class, I told you if any function run more than 3 seconds, okay, they will time out. Okay, and they run more than 3 seconds because guys, encryption option is little slow. Okay, and that's what guys that's what we have trade-off in the encryption, which algorithm to use. So right now we are using the very powerful algo, so they take much time to decode, also to decrypt, but they give you extra security, obviously. So this isn't the field, but we know in the Lambda we can change this time. Okay, so I told you guys here in the settings, if we go to edit, we can increase time, let's say for 9 seconds. Okay, so if my function run less than 9 seconds, it run, otherwise they fail. There's a maximum timeout we have. So what a timeout we had already discussed, guys, in my Lambda class. Okay, so let me run again. Let's see. Now again they're running maximum 9 seconds. Within 9 seconds, my code run. Otherwise they will fail. Again they fail. I don't know why they fail. So let me see the description here. And now here my code run 4 seconds, and after 4 seconds we have the error. So now this error is not because of timeout. They have a different error, and error is called access denied. So now error is different. Okay, and they say you are not allowed. Okay, so what I mean by this? So this is a very common thing that we always see multiple times. So right now, guys, my Lambda is one service um, in AWS, and they're trying to contact to KMS, is other service, and one service want to connect other service, so we don't allow. One service won't able to connect to other service. Okay, and that is the reason we have to attach a rule. So we have to give some Lambda extra power, extra role, so that they can go to KMS to connect. And that's what, guys, we have done multiple times. So in our Lambda, I go to permissions. Okay, let me close this. And this is the role they have. If we click in this role, okay, we can see here what role they have. So according to this role, Lambda can do very limited things. So they don't have any role with respect to KMS. Okay, so what can I do? I can add one more role, and there's one more way to add, guys. It's called add inline policy. Means I'm going to add one more policy for limited thing. Okay, so I'm clicking here, add inline, and say Lambda, I'm attaching you one service called KMS. KMS. Click. In KMS, right, there are a lot of key we have. Okay, but in this key, I'm giving a power to only one thing. Okay, to decrypt. So if you search decrypt, they have option decrypt come. So in the KMS, you can use one key to decrypt. But which key? All the keys. Okay, but I know I don't want my Lambda will use all the keys because we have some more sensitive key we have, right? I want my Lambda will use only this key. And every key has ARN number. So let me copy the ARN number. So I ask my Lambda only use a specific key, and I'm giving you my ARN number of that key. So I'm giving my ARN number of this key. 1 minute, what is happening? That's all. Guys, this concept, guys, we already discussed in my IM classes, but again, it is a repeat, right? So technically, we are going to create a policy or a role, I can say. And what we are doing, we are asking my Lambda that inside the KMS, okay, you can do something in this key, but only thing that you can do is decrypt. That's all. You can't delete the key or you can't edit the key. And that's what I want. Okay, that's what extra role we provided. Okay, and it has been created. You can give some name, let's say my LMBD Lambda KMS read power, decrypt power, or role, whatever name you want to give, and create. That's all. So this is a very common thing. If you want to use other service, so you can give the power. Now, this is a role attached to my Lambda, and this role has 2 power, and this is the one of the extra power we have added. Now I can go back to my Lambda, okay, and refresh this page. So again, this role we have, but in this role we have two power. Now, if I again try to run my code, okay, let's see what happens. My code is contacting to KMS, asking that you have a key. I'm providing a data to you. Just please decrypt this data because you have the key. And after decrypt, I want to use this data somewhere in my code. Maybe here in my case, I'm giving you as a print, but I want to use somewhere else to log into my database, something like this. But just for testing, because I written, it means if I try to see the detail, you'll see your data come up. Okay, but why your data come in this format? It should come in the normal format. Let me check again. So I have to change deploy. Why they come in this format? Because I asking my Lambda function to get this data, encrypt this, and let me print both just for checking. So encrypt means they will give me encrypt data. That's what I want. No, but print means they will give me printed data. Means the decrypted data. Let me check one more time very quickly. Test. And here they print. Now guys, both the side they are printing the same way. I think while copy pasting I have done something wrong here. Let me quickly clean my code. This code also, okay, this code also, I've done something wrong while copying pasting, right? And let me delete this one. Okay, save this. Again, let me quickly create new variable here. Okay, edit, add a new variable. Again, I'm giving the name called my name. Let me give the value, let's say Vimal. All right. Okay, and I want this to be encrypted. I select here. I'm using a key. This is called my key LW1. Okay, and I encrypt this with this key. Okay, and they give me a code. So let me copy paste the code here. Otherwise, you have to type by yourself if you know Python with AWS SDK. And I encrypt it. I think last time I encrypted 2 times actually. When I run this guy 2 times. This might be the challenge. And save. Okay, and let me paste my code over here. Okay, so let me paste my code. Okay, so same thing, nothing new, and again run this code. Okay, so what I wanted here, guys, you won't see your actual data like name Vimal, never here. Let me copy this. Okay, nothing, but when I run my code, they will behind the scene decrypt my data and give me the real data. Okay, and let me test this. You can see guys, output come up response. Even though here also you can see output come up. Okay, so guys, this is one of the use case of KMS. So technically now your code is secure. Whatever data you feel in a code, you don't want to keep here. One of the good example is credit card number, email password, database password, some other information, right? You keep it secure in your environmental variable, and that value you put in on that key you put in your KMS service. Okay, this is one example. One more quick example here. Everybody know what is RDS is a database services, or let's go for EBS. For example, this is my EBS. We have the volume, and I want any data that I create in this hard disk. So I'm going to create a one hard disk of 1 GB. Okay, in one area center. And I want any data that I keep in this hard disk is very sensitive. So I want to lock this hard disk. This is called encrypted. So here we can guys enable encryption. Okay. And if you go for encryption here, guys, they're asking for the key, and that's all your key come up. So again, you can use the key here. Okay. So this hard disk will be encrypted by your private key. Okay. You don't have to give the key. They have a tight integration with EBS, with your KMS. They will automatically get this key and lock your hard disk. Okay. So you don't have to encrypt. Everything will be locked. Okay. That's all. So when I click this, let me give the name. This is called EBS lock. Okay. And good thing is, because this EBS is a volume, behind this in the lock. So anybody in the AWS world, in the AWS data center, is some human being try to read the storage where you keep the data, they won't able to read it. There are a lot of human being working there, but if they try to access the hard disk, they won't able to read because everything is there is locked. And this key is managed in their HSM. Okay, and that is managed by a very different team, a very much reliable team. So, and they also don't have to access this because that all the keys are again locked by customer key actually. So nobody can able to see your key. Okay, so entire data will be locked. Okay, but if you attach this EBS to your um, issued instances, so behind the scene, they will automatically unlock, decrypt by using your key, and then they transfer the data. Okay, so this entire option is done by AWS. You don't have to worry about this process. And one more small thing, whenever you create a snapshot of this guy, okay, they automatically encrypt it. There's no choice here. A snapshot, guys, is automatically encrypted for you. So snap log is encrypted by by this guy. Okay, so you don't have to worry about. So when you create a snapshot, copy and backup of this, they automatically encrypt for you. Okay, so if your EBS is encrypted, your snapshot is also encrypted. Okay, so but how to call the key to lock, unlock, everything is internally purely managed by AWS. Okay, and if you click here, okay, and you guys know when you create a snapshot, we have options to create an image from the snapshot or volume from the snapshot. Okay, so from the snapshot, you can again create one new hard disk. Let's go create volume. Okay, and this volume, guys, you have options. Again, that volume also been encrypted. Okay, but one thing I just want to tell you here is if from the snapshot, if you create a copy of the snapshot, okay, and guys, here you have options to copy the snapshot in Mumbai region that I am right now. Okay, but if you try to copy this snapshot in a different region altogether, let's say in North Virginia, okay, it failed, or it use a different key, whatever default key they have there. Okay, and that's one thing what I'm trying to tell you here is key is per region. So if you want to use your key in other region, it won't work. Okay, key is per region. So if you want to share your snapshot to other region, so that region you have to create a key there. Otherwise, they have a default key. They always have in all the region. but but if you think you want to use your own key, first go to Virginia. You can go and create your own key there, and then select which key you want to use. Okay, so your snapshot first decrypt your data in your region, they transfer to Virginia, and they use this key to again encrypt. So this kind of process they have. So if you want to transfer your snapshots from one region to other region, so two different key you use, one key in your region to decrypt, one key of that region to encrypt, and then store there. So, but technically everything is been purely managed by AWS because pure managed service. So they have a high level integration with multiple services. You don't have to worry about anything in the security part. Okay, so lots of guys information I have explained to you, but it's not free service. If you create your own key, is not a free service. And one more last thing, guys, AWS has the own managed key that is purely managed by AWS per service basis. Okay, you don't have an option to delete or edit. This is the created by AWS, and these are the free keys. Okay, so whenever you want to encrypt any EBS volume, so by default this is the key they use. Okay, very quickly, if I show you, if I create a volume and you have to, if you want to encrypt, okay, by default key normally they use is this one. This is a default key. Okay, and this key is created by AWS, guys. It's a free key. You can use this key in all the EBS volume to log. Okay, so if you think you want to go for this free key, it's a default key, you can go for it. But technically, a big security perspective is not good practice to use same key for all the EBS volume. Every EBS volume belong to different teams. So if one of the key hack, all the volume hack. Okay, so that time you have to go for your own custom keys or customer keys, right, for different volumes. Okay, but this key they already created for you, and they create a key per service basis. For SNS they create different, SQS they create different, RDS they create different. And till that, guys, if I use encryption in any other topic, by default this is the key they use. Okay, so per service they create one key for you. That's called default key, and it's called managed key. Good thing is free. Bad thing is, bad thing is, they create one key for default. Okay, so 100 volume we have, same key you have to apply on all 100 volume. One key hack, or this key hack, or this key has a vulnerability, every volume will have the issues. Okay, otherwise this key is good to use. If you have free account, you can go for this. So managed key we understood, custom managed key we understood. This is a actual way we use in the real world, but yeah, it come with cost here. And key store is HSM, where you keep your key in the hardware, or I can say dedicated hardware. Okay, there's one more concept, guys. It's called asymmetric key. Concept is almost same. Okay, instead we create a key for symmetric purpose. We can create a key for asymmetric purpose. So anybody who know cryptography, asymmetric is used for two purpose: encryption, decryption, the way I explain you here, and one more purpose called signing and verification. So in my guys next class I will talk about asymmetric. Okay, by chance we don't have this program topic in our CSA developer, and but it's good to know, because this concept we might use in a lot of other areas also. Okay, so lots of information, guys, I have shared with you with a lot of practical. One more issue point I want to tell you, I will give you the answer in next class. Right now the symmetric algorithm that I use, okay, they have a one limitation. The data that you can encrypt within symmetry is maximum 4 kilobyte. Okay, so the example that I show you here, okay, when I encrypt my data that was encrypted, there's no error come up. No error come up. They encrypted. Why? Because the size of this file is less than 4 kilobyte. But in this file, if I store lots of data and the size of this file is more than, let me try to randomly copy paste this data, and let me copy this file again. So if the file size is more than 4 kilobyte, okay, right now the size is this one, around 9 kilobyte. If I try to again encrypt this file one more time, okay, it will fail. It fail. And they say your file should be less than or equals to 4096 byte, means 4 kilobyte. So this algorithm, guys, or this KMS encryption, by default, the way I use here, they only support maximum 4 kilobyte size. And that's what, guys, they also written in their document. So the document that I opened for you somewhere. So if you go to encryption again, so if you go to symmetric algorithm, they only support 4 kilobyte maximum. Okay, but in this symmetric algorithm, guys, they have a way, right, through which we can and keep bigger size file also, because image and video is normally bigger in size, right? And that's called envelope encryption. Okay. So again, in symmetry, we have a concept called envelope encryption. I will show you in next class. So two topics we have to be discussed. One is envelope encryption or what is asymmetric encryption. Two things I will discuss in my next class. Okay. So that's all guys for today. A lot of information from very basics I tried to explain to you. That's all. Any questions guys if you have? Yeah, we can discuss. Is encrypted via methodological safest route. Hemant, is what you're asking is data encrypted via this methodology is safe too? No, actually, guys, right now the way the concept I discuss you is data at rest. So if you want to, uh, secure your data while they are in your storage, this is called at rest. How you can secure? So this is the method you can use. But if you want your data is going via internet and you want to keep the security of this data, that's called in transit, then we have to use same concept but other programs we have to use. For example, you have to use HTTPS if the data going via HTTP. Okay, concept is same encryption algorithm you can use. Okay, so when I go for asymmetric algorithm, asymmetric encryption, Hemant, I will explain you that time, because normally asymmetric algorithm we mostly use while transferring the data via internet or via network. Can you teach about virtual memory concept? Rahul, yes, definitely. If you are a part of Earth, so one of my topic in DSA, there's a one requirement come up where I will talk about what is virtual memory or other kind of memories. So, guys, I will definitely try to take extra only exclusive class on cryptography. This is the actually the topic more respect to AWS. So there I will discuss a little bit more basics about cryptographic concept. Okay, I can go more basic here in this class because we are on the AWS class, but I try to touch some of the concepts so that you can link what is going on. If my data encrypted with some key, I want to decode without the key, it is possible to decode. No, actually guys, Deepak, that's I'm trying to explain you. Encryption, decryption is different concept. Encoding and decoding is a different concept. So if data is either decrypted, so either encrypted or not encrypted, we can decode and encode any point in time. Okay, that's not a big deal. But if your data is encrypted, okay, and you want to see your real data, you have to decrypt. And for decryption, you need a key. So guys, right now, guys, today I don't want you, don't please, confuse with encode decode concept. Just forget this concept for a while. Okay, but I said that command need, so I try to explain to that point in time. But main thing is encryption, decryption. That's the one point. Yes, Pooja, you can apply encryption on multiple levels, right? And that's what we have to do. So we keep the data in hard disk, we need encryption. We read the data from the hard disk, then we transfer via network. There also we need encryption. So multiple layers, we have to provide the encryptions. So that's what one of my next topic in this topic. So Lambda is serverless. So technically, Chaitanya, Lambda is serverless. It means we don't have to manage the servers. Okay, but internally AWS has running all the function in some of the server, obviously, right? So wherever they are running, okay, that server, whatever the environment they give to us, there they store the variables. Okay, so serverless means you don't have to manage server. Internally, they are managing the server somewhere for us. What is a blob file? And normally, guys, a file that is normally in a binary format. Okay, normally this kind of file is not a blob file. For example, image or videos, these are also known as blob file. No, guys, we don't have Python class today. How to encrypt RDS? Raju, same way. In the if you go to RDS, you will find options there to encrypt and decrypt the RDS for you. Okay. So can we directly encrypt data? No, actually, Abhijit, is command to command vary. By default, AWS KMS command doesn't give you options to encode or decode the data directly. So you have to use some third-party commands to do it. Okay. Which global program certificate program in summer? So guys, it is we try to provide some of the very uh, useful or whatever the current industry need at point in time. So that kind of global certificate we provide. Okay, just for example, in my last to last summer, we provide Ansible. Okay, so so this year, whatever the most exclusive or most important program global exam we require, maybe Kubernetes, maybe Ansible, maybe XYZ. So it is not yet it's been properly planned finally with by Linux and then with Red Hat. So if hacker install key no Nilesh, if you put the keylogger, then there is no use of any encryption algorithm. The keylogger is the one who will record your key. So data will lock afterwards, right? But if you have put any keylogger, anybody can get your data. But big thing is how you put the keylogger, right? So if I ask you to put the keylogger in one of the computer in Facebook data center, one of the computer in Google data center, how can you put the keylogger? So there's a big thing, right? It is impossible to put the keylogger. But yeah, if you put somehow the keylogger, then you can get anything. So so when we use public key, private key, this probably guys we haven't discussed today. So maybe in my next class, I will explain you about asymmetric algorithm, and then I will talk about public key and private key use. Yes, Jagnesh, you can also same thing in Terraform also, because Terraform is the one who is managing the service of AWS, right? The same thing you can do with Terraform also. Yes, sir. Wherever we can encrypt S3 and also objects, image, video. So S3 also have options to link with KMS. So in S3, there's option we can encrypt any objects, images, or videos there, and you can use your own key of KMK of KMS service. So when we learn about HTTPS, Sudhanshu, when I go for asymmetric algorithm, okay, because HTTPS behind the scene use asymmetric algorithm. So that time I will explain you how to use in HTTPS. Is cloud SSM only meant to keeping? Yes, Piyush, it is a hardware devices managed by AWS guys, and they are only meant to keep the key. Okay, and big thing is not a small thing. Understand, right? They are managing the key for you. So that's what, guys. Practice this service again. I'm repeating, this service is not free. Okay, if you create something, they will charge you per hourly, per monthly basis, depend what exactly they are you are using here. So that's all, guys, for today. See you in the next class, and we'll do the next part, guys. By chance tomorrow you don't have the class, I think we have updated you. Okay, so we'll see you guys in the next week. Bye, take care.